Hi, in this tutorial I will give an overview of the OPC UA Server Simulator. This is a free OPC UA server that you can use for test purposes, and we will use this server with some practical examples using both LabVIEW and Matlab. So here you see the contents of this tutorial. First, a short introduction to OPC and OPC UA. Then I will give an overview of this OPC UA Server Simulator, which is a free OPC UA server with, of course, some limited features from the company integrated objects. And this server supports data access and historical access using OPC UA. And we will create different OPC UA clients in different programming languages like LabVIEW and Matlab in this tutorial, which will communicate with this OPC UA Server Simulator. The same company also have a free OPC UA client which we can use in order to test the OPC UA server. So we will also use this OPC UA client. Then we will use in LabVIEW something called LabVIEW OPC UA Toolkit. This is an additional package to LabVIEW. LabVIEW is a graphical software created by NI, and also this LabVIEW OPC UA Toolkit is also created by NI, so it's an additional package you need to buy in order to use OPC UA feature within LabVIEW. So here I will provide some examples using this LabVIEW OPC UA Toolkit and then communicate with this OPC UA Server Simulator. Finally, I will do the same within the within the Matlab programming environment. And in Matlab we have the Matlab OPC toolbox. And this toolbox supports both classic OPC but also OPC UA. So we will use this toolbox to create some examples that communicate with this OPC UA Server Simulator, both for writing and reading data. So I have created lots of OPC resources in previous tutorials. I have this web page where you can find lots of resources in general and also lots of resources regarding OPC and OPC UA. And on this specific web page you find all the OPC resources, and also on my YouTube channel I have created lots of videos both regarding OPC Classic and OPC UA. So just open my YouTube channel and then just search for OPC, and then you will find lots of videos already created within the OPC topic. First, a very short introduction to OPC and OPC UA. So we can divide OPC into two categories: the classic OPC and the new OPC UA. So the difference with OPC classic and the new OPC UA is cross-platform, so it works on Linux, Windows, Mac OS, on embedded systems, etc. While this classic OPC works only on the Windows operating system. So that's the main difference. But in addition, also the new OPC UA standard makes it easier to use the OPC protocol across different networks and internet. And also, while we in classic OPC have lots of different protocols like the OPC DA for real-time data, OPC historical data access for historical data, and OPC alarm and events, and we have also lots of others different protocols. But in this next generation OPC, which is called OPC UA, all these three protocols are combined into the OPC UA standard. Next, I will give a short overview of this OPC UA Server Simulator, which is a free OPC UA server from the company Integrated Objects. So it's a free OPC UA server. It supports real-time data access and historical data access using this OPC UA standard. And you can configure the server with different tags, and if they are read or write, etc. in two different CSV files that is part of this software. You can download the software from this web page. So this is the web page of the OPC Foundation. So here is this OPC UA server ready to download. You find the web page for the manufacturer, the developer of this software. So you just click on this link, and then you go to this web page, and then you can just click the download link here in order to download this OPC UA Server Simulator. So when you have downloaded and installed this OPC UA Server Simulator, it looks like this. So here you see the URL which you need to use in order to connect to this server from different OPC UA clients. And also you find these two CSV files that you can open in, for instance, Microsoft Excel. So there are two files. These files are located in the same location where this software is installed. So typically under Program Files, Integrated Objects, OPC UA Server Simulator, and then finally in the Data folder you find these two CSV files where you can configure the tags that you are going to use in your simulations. So here you see the default setup of these two files. So I will just use the default setup. It consists of 20 tags from tag 1 to tag 20, and tag 1 to 10 is read-write, and here you see the data type, and tag 11 to 20 is read, and here you also see the data type. And also, so these are an overview of the tags that are available in the system, and for this simulated tags you can also set up the values you are going to use for the specific tags. So here you see, for instance, for tag number 11, here you see the historical values that are stored and the quality of these values. So basically these are the tags that are available, but you can configure these Excel files by your own. Next, you have this OPC UA client from the same company, which is a free OPC UA client from this same company, which is Integrated Objects. So you can download it on the same web page. So this OPC client supports the OPC UA standard, and it supports real-time data access, alarms and events, and historical data. So you can download the software for this OPC UA client on this location. So here you see the web page of Integrated Objects where you can download this OPC UA client. So here you find some information about the software, and also just here click on the download link in order to download and install this software. And here you see the software, this OPC UA client from Integrated Objects after you have installed it. So when you open this software, just click on the connect, and then you can type the URL for the server here, or you can click on discover in order to discover OPC servers within your network, either on your local computer or within the network. You can specify different protocols, security modes, security policy, etc. But for this OPC UA server simulator we are going to use, you can just use the default setup. So when you have entered the URL here, just click apply, and then the tag list will appear here in this window. And here you see you have tag from 1 to 20, and then you can right click, and then you can either read the values, write new values, or monitor the values for each of these tags. In this tutorial we will also, as mentioned, use this LabVIEW OPC UA toolkit. With this toolkit you can create OPC UA servers and OPC UA clients. So here you see the overview of the palette in LabVIEW after you have installed this OPC UA toolkit. So under the data communication palette you find this OPC UA palette, and here you have sub-palettes for creating OPC UA servers and OPC UA clients. So here you see the sub-palette for this OPC UA server. So by using these what you call in LabVIEW sub-VIs, you can create your own OPC UA server from scratch. And here you see the OPC UA client palette, and you can use these sub-VIs in order to create your own OPC UA client. So we'll both create an OPC UA server and two different OPC UA clients, one that are reading values from a given OPC UA server and another client that are writing values to a given OPC UA server. Then let's provide some LabVIEW examples. So example number one, then in this example we will read data from this OPC UA Server Simulator. So I have created an OPC UA client within this LabVIEW OPC UA toolkit, and this client are reading values from a given server. So in this application you are entering the URL for the server and the tag you are going to read values from, and then the values that are read are presented here in the graphical user interface. So basically this is the LabVIEW application we are going to use, and here you see the code for this application, or the block diagram as it's called in LabVIEW. So you start by using this connect sub-VI that are connecting to the OPC server from this given URL here. So this is the address of the server, the OPC UA server, which you provide here. It goes into this connect sub-VI. Then inside a while loop, you use this multiple read sub-VI, which is part of the palette in LabVIEW. You use this in order to read values from the server, and it reads values on the tag you present here on your front panel. Then you do some logic in order to just present the tag value, and then you have this cluster that present the node ID, the value, the timestamp, and the status like this. And then when you click on the stop button, the while loop stops, and then you disconnect from the server, and if any error, a simple error handle will provide an error to the user. So basically this is the LabVIEW application that are reading values from a given OPC UA server. Then let's open the necessary software needed. So then we start with the OPC UA Server Simulator. Just click yes, and then since this is a simulator server, it only works for 48 hours. Then you need to restart the server. So basically this is an OPC UA server used for test purposes only. So I click just OK here, and this OPC UA Server Simulator are starting. So this is the OPC UA Server software. Here under help you can get access to the user guide. Here under setting you have the security policies that you can set. You can add username, password, select different security modes, etc. I just use the default provided. And also here under configuration you find different configuration you can set. And also let's go to find these files where the tags are stored. So we go to program files, integrated objects, and these integrated objects OPC UA Server Simulator, and then we have the data folder, and here you see the two CSV files. Here we have the address space where the different tags are provided. So here we have by default this tag 1, 2, 3 up till tag 20, and the access right and the data type, and if it's simulated or not. And also in the other file you can set up the values you are going to use, but I will only use these default values that are provided in this address space file. So then we have also this OPC UA client, which I will open. So then here you have the server address. I just copy it, and then I use it here in the client. Just take some time to like this, and then you click connect. You enter the URL here and click apply. And then the tag should be available here in the bottom. So here you see the address space for this server. Here you have objects. Here you have historical data and real-time data. So I click on real-time data, and here you see the different tags are presented from tag 1 to tag 20. Then I can just use tag number 7. I can click here, write, and then just write the value to this tag. Let's say I write value 20. Then value 20 has been written to this specific tag from this OPC UA client. Next, I open the LabVIEW application, which I have here. So this is the LabVIEW application created with the LabVIEW OPC UA toolkit. So this is an OPC UA client that are reading values from a given OPC UA server. So here is the endpoint, which I just find here. So this is the address for the server, which are located here. And here I specify the tag, so I'm going to use the same tag here, tag number 7. And we was writing to this tag from this client. It was writing the value 20. And now I should be able to read the same value here. So I just click start. And as you see, the value 20 has been written to this OPC UA client. I can just go here, write, and then I can enter a new value, 22, click OK, go to this LabVIEW client, and then you see the tag value has been updated. So in this basic example, we are using this OPC UA Server Simulator. We have two clients, one client from integrated objects, where you can read and write tags, and then I have created this OPC UA client with the LabVIEW OPC UA toolkit, and this specific client are reading values from this server. I can just stop it, and then we go through the code or the block diagram. So here we have the connect, which are connecting to the server using the address specified here. Then I use this multiple read. So all these sub-VIs, you find it here under data communication, OPC UA. And then we have this OPC UA palette here. Here we have all the features for creating OPC UA clients. And here we have all the features for creating an OPC UA server. So here under OPC UA client, we have this connect. We have the multiple read. We have this connect, which you find here. So all the sub-VIs needed for creating an OPC UA client are found here. So basically, this is a simple OPC UA client that are reading values from any given OPC UA server. In this case, we are reading from this OPC UA Server Simulator. So let's go to the next example we will provide. So LabVIEW example number 2. In this example, I will create and use another LabVIEW OPC UA client that are writing data to this OPC UA Server Simulator. So here you see the application. You specify the address to the server, the tags that you're going to write to, and the value. So basically this is the user interface for this application. So here you also see the block diagram. It's almost identical as the previous OPC UA client that was reading to the server, while this application are writing values to the server. But it's almost identical. You have the same connect, the same while loop, but instead of using multiple read, we are using multiple write in order to write, in this case, a temperature value for a given tag ID. And then we have disconnect as in the previous example. We will use the same tag. So let's see how this example are working. So now we have 4 different applications. We have the OPC UA Server Simulator here. Here we have the OPC UA client from the same company, Integrated Objects, and you see this one is connected as you see here. And then now we have two applications within LabVIEW, one that was presented in the previous example that are an OPC UA client that are reading values from this given server. But now in addition we have this second LabVIEW application, an OPC UA client that are writing values to the server. So here you see the front panel. Here you specify the address for the server, the tag that you're going to use, and the value that you're going to write to the server. And as explained, here you see the block diagram. So now let's start these two clients. Here is read application, and here is the write application. Let's see now. We are writing 24 degrees Celsius to the server, and now you see also all three OPC UA clients are connected here. So we have 1, 2, 3 sessions here. This is this one, and the other two is the two LabVIEW applications. And you see in the second LabVIEW application we are reading the same value, which is 24. We can also use this OPC UA client from Integrated Objects for the same tag, so both are writing and reading to tag number 7. Then I just here go to read, and then you see I get the same value here, 24. I can also right click here, monitor, and subscribe to this specific tag, and then you will see this tag in this list here. So then I can just update it to 25, and you see it's updated here and also here in these two clients. So basically this is an application where you have one server and 3 different OPC UA clients. This one writes data to the server, this one reads data from the server, and this OPC UA client from Integrated Objects can both read and write data. So here you see the data for this specific tag, and you can also right click here in order to either read or write data to this specific tag. So far we have used the OPC UA server from Integrated Objects, the simulator server. Now we are also going to create a OPC UA server using LabVIEW, the LabVIEW OPC UA toolkit. So now we will use an OPC UA server created with LabVIEW, and then we will use the same two OPC UA clients created in LabVIEW in addition to the OPC UA client from Integrated Objects in order to write and read data between these applications. So here you see the LabVIEW OPC UA server we are going to create. The front panel is very simple. You have the URL for the server, and then the available tags for the server. So basically this is the OPC UA server we are going to create, and here you see the block diagram for this application. So you are creating the server. Here you can add one or more folders. In this basic example, I'm adding a folder called factory, and then within this folder I add an OPC tag called temperature. So we have one OPC tag only called temperature within this factory folder, and then we start the folder, and then the application goes forever until we click the stop button, and then we stop and close the OPC UA server. And then we have these 3 applications. We have the LabVIEW OPC UA server, and we have the 2 clients, one OPC UA client that are writing data and another that are reading data. And then the values we are writing in this application should be stored in the server, and then we can use one or more clients in order to read the same value like this. So in this example we will not use the OPC UA Server Simulator. We will create our own OPC UA server using the LabVIEW OPC UA toolkit. So we have the application here. So this is the front panel for the server, and this is the block diagram as explained. So we have create, add folder, factory, add an OPC tag called temperature in this example, and the server runs until you click this stop button, and then you stop the server and close the server like this. So basically this is the OPC UA server. We just started. So now the server is running. Here is the address for the server. Then I will start by using this OPC UA client from integrated objects. I click here on connect, enter the URL or the address for the server, click apply. And then here we have the different folders on the server. Under objects we have the folder I just created, namely the factory, and the tag here is the temperature. So then we can right click in order to read and write values or monitor this specific tag. And here we have the two other applications created in LabVIEW. Here we have the write. I just started. Now I'm writing 23 degrees Celsius to the server. I can use this integrated objects OPC UA client. Right click on the tag, click read, and then you see 23 is written here to the server. Then I can also start the second client in LabVIEW, OPC UA client reading values. And then you see I can change it to 24. And you see also this application are reading the same value that are written to the server. I can also verify it by using the OPC UA client from integrated objects, read, and you see you get 24 here. And I can also close this write client. I can go here and click write. I can specify 25. And then here on this OPC UA client written in LabVIEW, you see the tag value is updated. So basically, in this example, I have created an OPC UA client, an OPC UA server within the LabVIEW software. Created two different LabVIEW applications, one that are writing to the server, another that are reading to the server. And you see it works as expected, and then we can also use this OPC UA client from integrated objects to see that everything works as expected. So now next let's start using Matlab and the Matlab OPC toolbox. So with the Matlab OPC toolbox you can connect to different OPC servers, both classic OPC servers but also OPC UA servers. And you use the traditional Matlab programming environment. So this Matlab OPC toolbox supports both OPC DA, OPC historical data access, and the new OPC UA standard. You find more information about the toolbox on the vendor's webpage. Matlab is created by MathWorks, and also the Matlab OPC toolbox are created by MathWorks. So you find more information about the toolbox here on this webpage. Also here you find some resources that can be useful when creating your OPC UA clients within this Matlab environment. But basically, in order to create an OPC UA client within this Matlab OPC toolbox, you need to do the following. You can use first locate your OPC UA server on either your local computer or on your network using this command, OPC UA server info, and then just localhost or an URL or an IP address. Then you need to create an OPC UA client using this OPC UA function of this toolbox. Then you just specify the address and the port. Then you connect to the server using connect. Then you can browse the available tag list on the server using browse namespace. Then you can either read or write values. Let's start by reading values from a given OPC UA server. Then you can use read value. And finally, you just disconnect from the server like this. Then let's start creating some basic examples in Matlab. So example number 1, we will use this OPC UA Server Simulator. And then we will create a basic script in Matlab that are reading values from this OPC UA server. So here you have the OPC UA Server Simulator. Under settings here we can find the port we need here. So we need this address for the server and we need the port. So these two so we need this URL and the port in our Matlab script. So here you see the basic Matlab script for connecting to this OPC UA Server Simulator and read a specific value for a specific tag. Then we just create an OPC UA client using OPC UA like this. So here is the port that we found here, and then you can specify the address, or if it's located on the same computer, you can just type localhost like this. We connect, we use the browse namespace in order to find the specific tag we are going to use. Then we can read value and finally disconnect from the server. And it will look like this. Using this browse namespace, this will pop up where you can select among the available tags on the server on the left side, and then you just select the tag you want to use, put it to the list to the right, and then within the Matlab environment we are going to read the value from the server like this. So then I have the different applications up and running. Here are the OPC UA Server Simulator, which we are going to connect to. Here is the OPC UA client from Integrated Objects. Now I have connected to this server, as you see here. I have the available tags here, which I can right-click, write and read values to. And also have this LabVIEW application, this OPC UA client, that are writing values to the server. So then I can use this one in order to write 23 to the server like this. I also can find the same tag here, which is tag number 7. Right click, read, and then you see the value 23 has been written to the server. And then let's open Matlab. And here is the Matlab script. It just contains of 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of code. So this is basically all you need in order to create an OPC UA client within the Matlab environment using this OPC UA toolkit. So let's just run this code. Here is the port that are provided on the server here. So this is the port for this OPC UA Server Simulator. And it's all applications are located on my computer, so I just specify localhost here, or I could specify the server URL, which you find here. I connect to the server, I use this browse namespace, read the value and disconnect. So let's just run it. And now the value that was written to the server was 23. So hopefully we are going to read 23 within the Matlab environment. So I just click run. So as you see now, this browse namespace pops up, which is this function. And here you see that I am connected to the server. Here you have the different folders. Here I have the real-time data, and here you have the different tags. In this example I will use tag number 7. I click here in order to select this specific tag, click OK. And then here in the Matlab environment, using this read value, I'm able to read the value, which is 23, the timestamp and the quality, like this. I'll also go here and change the value for this tag number 7, right, to 24, like this. Now I go back to the Matlab program, run it once more. Select the same specific tag, tag number 7, like this, and then you see here now the value 24 has been written to the server, and I'm able to use Matlab in order to read the value from the OPC UA server like this. And you find the timestamp and the quality like this. So far we have shown how we can read values from this OPC UA Server Simulator using the Matlab programming environment. Now we are going to write data. So here you see the Matlab script for doing that. It's almost identical. You create an OPC UA client, you connect to the server, you use the browse namespace in order to specify which tag you are going to use, and then the only different here now, we are instead of using read value, we are going to use write value. So then I specify a specific value here, in this case just 22.5, and then use write value in order to write this specific value to the OPC UA server. And then I finally disconnect. So here we have the different applications. Here we have the OPC UA Server Simulator. Here we have the OPC UA client from integrated objects. Here we have the two LabVIEW application, one for writing values and this one for reading values from the OPC UA server. And then in Matlab we have this script for reading values, and now we create a new script for writing values. So it's identical as this read script, except that we, instead of using read value, we are using write value like this. Then now I want to write 21.7 to the server, so then I just click run, click the specific tag, in this case tag 7, click OK, and also in the same program here I'm also using the read value, so you see I'm also able to read the value 21.7, and I can also use this OPC UA client from integrated objects, go to tag 7, click read, and then you see 21.7 has been written to the server. And I can also start this OPC UA client written in LabVIEW to verify that also the value 21.7 has been written to the server like this. So far we have used Matlab in order to connect to this OPC UA Server Simulator, and we was able to write and read values from and to the server using Matlab. But now let's use this LabVIEW OPC UA server instead. So here are the different applications we are going to use in this example. Here is the LabVIEW OPC UA server, and let's just start it. Here is the address for the server and the tag that has been created. We just connect to the server using this OPC UA client from integrated objects. Connect, enter the URL and click apply, and then here we have this factory and the temperature, and then we can read and write values. And we have these two applications in LabVIEW for writing and reading values to the same server. And then we have the two Matlab scripts that are reading and writing to the server. And the only thing we need to change here now is the port. So the port that are used now is this port. So I just copy it, update the Matlab code. This is the script for writing, and this is the script for reading. So let's start with write, click run, and here you see we are connected to this OPC UA server created in LabVIEW. We have the factory and the temperature. Select the specific tag, and then I are writing 21.7 in this second script for reading. I just click run, select the same tag, click OK, and then you see the same tag has been we are able to read the same value as we have written to the server in this script. You can also verify it by using this OPC UA client by integrated objects read. So we have 21.7 here. We can also use this OPC UA client to read, created in LabVIEW, and then you see we are able to read the same value. So basically now we have used two different OPC UA server, one called OPC UA Server Simulator, which is a very simple OPC UA Server for test purposes, and we have used both LabVIEW and Matlab in order to connect to the server, and we was able to both write and read data to the server, and both from LabVIEW and from Matlab. And then we also created another OPC UA server within the LabVIEW environment. We had applications both in LabVIEW and in Matlab that was able to connect to this server, both writing and reading values. So that's all for now. So good luck with OPC and creating your OPC applications, either you use LabVIEW, Matlab, or other programming languages. So good luck and thank you. Bye bye.